All right, how about we just dig into it? AEP. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's here. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the pain of it, so let's dive right into it.
Josh, I heard that this is your favorite time of year.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, we are actually in the middle of AEP right now.
Right. Yeah, we are coming up on our third completed week of AEP. We've got roughly 5 weeks left of it, so it's coming near an end. I'm sure a lot of you Medicare agents are still excited that there's that much time left, and then there's some of you that are ready for it to be over and get a little bit easier for regular life insurance sales. Either way, in this video, we are going to uncover it. My name is Josh, one of the hosts here on the Digital BGA channel. This is David, one of our other hosts on the Digital BGA channel.
Now, you guys are probably going to be seeing our faces a lot more over the next few weeks as we kind of dig into a little bit more of what we experience on our side of marketing and media creation. And we're also going to be bringing people in like Jeff, bringing in Nick. Maybe we'll bring in some agents or other team members and kind of allow us to have more technical conversations and put out the data and behind the scenes of what we experience on our end. So you guys can adjust how you handle your day-to-day business on your end. Before we get into the meat of the video, I'm actually editing it right now as we speak, and I'm recording this on my phone. I wanted to let you know that what you're watching is a condensed version of our entire conversation. We took the title topics of what we covered and cut it down to just that. But if you guys want to listen to the full conversation, we're going to be uploading that on Saturday. So you guys will have the time over the weekend to watch it. Okay. So without further ado, let's get back into the video. In this video, we want to address a few of the things we see in AEP, and more importantly, give you guys a few things that you can do to make sure that you absolutely crush Q4.
Okay, guys, let's start with number one. Number one that I think everybody is aware of that has been in this business for long enough is we see a lot of competition increase, which means cost increase during the fourth quarter, more specifically during AEP. So with increased competition, increased cost, obviously you as an agent or you as an agency owner, whatever your situation is, you are going to probably wonder why specifically it happens during this time, what's going on in the market. The biggest thing to understand during this time is actually just understanding why it's taking place. Why does it get more difficult for us as an agency? If you're an agent with us, whatever the case is, you might notice that call flow decreases some. Or you might notice if you do your own marketing that it gets a lot more difficult to succeed at it, or it becomes a lot more expensive. And with that, like one of the biggest things that me and you have talked about in the background here recently, David, is how it's been kind of forgotten that Q4 is not just AEP. Q4 is two big holidays are approaching, three if you include New Year's Eve, even though that technically is going to roll over into Q1. Christmas, a lot of money is spent. There is more than just Medicare providers and people selling Medicare insurance that are competing in the market at the heaviest they have gone all year long. Every e-commerce business is dumping money into the marketing funnels right now. They're trying to sell their products. Every seasonal Christmas shop in the world is dumping money into it. Everybody that has leftover marketing dollars to spend in a yearly budget is spending those dollars right now. So everything is more expensive.
I just looked it up. It turns out that the average person between Thanksgiving and Christmas spends anywhere between $1,500 to $5,000. That's the average person.
Yeah, and so, I don't know what the average is the other times of the year, but I mean, just think of every sale that could be happening at every single store that's brick and mortar or an online e-commerce business, even Amazon that controls most of the organic listings and paid listings is going to dump money into marketing this time of the year because they want the traffic. So you're not just competing against Medicare, you're competing against the world, so to speak, this final 3 months of the year. And that can be super intimidating as a one-man shop or a small insurance agency to go up against all of the big dogs, so to speak. Yeah. But it is also a time of the year where outside of everybody's shopping, once that Christmas shopping's over, you kind of put your devices down. where you do have a lot more going on. So you don't have the ability to grab people's attention quite as easy. And going back to the previous point, I'll probably say that numerous times throughout this video, you're competing against the world now for 3 months. Even if people do have the time on their devices, whatever the device is, the amount of other people that are trying to grab their attention and the amount of, just mental capacity to handle all of the incoming flood of notifications and ads on their phone. It's just so much this time of the year that it makes competition a lot higher, and it can feel a lot more difficult to get your objective completed marketing wise or sales wise.
That's a great point. That's a great point that I think people aren't putting into consideration, how they're pulled and tugged in multiple different directions.
Yeah, 100%. And to combat that, one of the biggest things you can do, and one of the biggest things we've been saying for a long time, is you can let your marketing be handled by the agency itself. So if you're working with digital BGA, this is the time of the year where it's probably great for you not to have to worry about the marketing, where we're taking care of it. We're figuring things out. We're taking the sales data. We're taking the marketing data. We're putting it together, and we're trying to make sure that we're giving you the best opportunity to succeed during times like this. Because if you're new to marketing or you're new to a digital platform, it is going to be extremely difficult this time of the year to break into something like Facebook ads or Google ads or TV commercials, whatever it is. So with the increased competition that we see, obviously we have to make a lot of preparations for it. We try to start doing that as early as possible. And to be honest, it's super stressful. It's been stressful since January 1st. We've been talking about this. I'm sure David can vouch for this on what has gone into this year because of previous years. And it's been every one of them. We've tried to counter it. We've said that we are going to be prepared, and it still hurts every single year. AEP and this time of the year is super competitive. So David, I think you should just kind of fill them in on what we've talked about media wise, how we tried to counter this a little bit, just so everybody can get an idea of how much even an agency like us is like, man, we have to make adjustments and we need to be ready for it.
Yeah. This kind of goes along with what I talked about in last week's video. It's just applied to a different task, but pre-production, right? Planning. We are talking about AEP. Like, when AEP ends, we start talking about next year's AEP.
And then it crushes us still.
Yeah. I will say that there are some things that we have done. And so there's some strides that we've made that have helped in the planning process. Part of that, Josh will hit me, maybe 4 or 5 months prior and say, hey, David, I need a deck of creatives to be able to batch out and play with to handle whatever this climate is going to look like. Before we actually hit AEP, I'll send Josh out anywhere from like 5 to 15 new different versions. And maybe they're old versions that we know are like, these are our successful versions. They're bulletproof. I'll get everything that Josh needs and just a plan for what we're about to experience. But then also there's the flip side of that where we understand it's going to hurt regardless. So yeah.
Yeah. And I would say over the last 5 years, that's been the biggest takeaway is the planning's gotten better, and that should happen in everybody's business, obviously. But certain times of the year, there's just things that you can't run from, and AEP and end of the year budgets and holidays appears to be one of them. CPMs, which stands for the cost per 1,000 impressions, essentially, go way up this time of the year because everybody is bidding on the same slots. Everybody wants to be shown for their product or for their services. So we want to have some options of creatives or videos or commercials that may make a few little variable changes that can give us a little bit of a leg up. Maybe those come in at a little bit of a cheaper cost per 1,000. Maybe a shorter video performs a little bit better because the ad slot itself is cheaper to purchase. Does this time of the year still increase our marketing costs on our side? Yeah, it definitely does. But having those options, we are seeing better results than we have in years prior. And that's all you can do in your business too, is plan. Sometimes planning still results in a rough stretch or a rough few months, but I guarantee if you continue to do that, it's going to be better than the year prior. The second thing you can do to combat this is you can include other business building activities into this time of the year that don't cost as much money. Of course, you want to keep your pipeline building up and you want to keep sales coming in. But if you just don't have the marketing spend this time of the year and you're not working with a partner such as us or anybody to handle the marketing for you, this may be the time of the year to really get your website off of the ground, something that isn't going to be a huge investment out of your pocket. This could be a time of the year for you to make a bunch of batch YouTube videos for your YouTube channel, for your niche community that you sell your life insurance to. Whatever the case is, this could be a great time of the year for you to handle the sales that you can and build the rest of your business around. I would say, one of the biggest things to understand, or I'm sure all of you do understand it, but just to keep front of mind this time of the year, if anything does get difficult and you feel like you want to slow down a little bit, like this is a terrible time to do it. Once again, reverting back to something we said earlier in the video, we see that sales go through the roof this time of the year. So consumers will purchase. It's a great time to be using the phone to build your business. And secondly, this is the end of the year, not just for all the other businesses that are increasing the competition, but this is the end of the year for your business. This is the worst time, in my opinion, to slow down. This would be the time to finish as strong as humanly possible. So take all of the volume you can get with inbound leads, with outbound leads, whatever it is, work as much as you can and really finish strong, because whether you think it's important this January, February, or March, it's going to be important sometime in the future. So now is the time to, really put the foot down and finish strong.
So AEP, it's something that we can't avoid. It's just going to be a part of our year, and we have to plan for it as best as we possibly can.
Yeah. And just to do a quick fire off of the tips and the things that we've already discussed in this video is, one, accept it. It's here. And part of accepting it is understanding it's not just AEP. It's holidays. It's Fortune 500 companies draining their marketing budgets. It's a perfect storm to make things competitive. So that's number one. Accept it and plan every year, get better at planning for it. That can be number one in a nutshell. Number two can be work on as much other business building activity as you can. Still take as much volume as possible. Still work as many leads as possible. They are there. They are hungry to buy. It is a great time of the year for sales in general. It's just sometimes it's a little bit slower. So some of those videos made it sound like it slows down dramatically. It doesn't. It just gets a little bit stickier, a little bit harder to get the same amount of activity you had before, but continue working as much activity as you can. And with any downtime that exists after that, work on the other activities that we talked about to build your business. Social media presence, YouTube, website, reaching back out to your old book of business. Maybe reaching back out to the old book of business to see if somebody else in their family needs coverage, or if they want to give you a referral to somebody else that they know. Anything you can do to create a lot of activity within your business is important, because one of the other huge things we talked about in this video so far is that this is the end of the year for your business as well. Not just everybody else that's competing against you, but this matters at some point in the near future or distant future for what this is going to turn into for you. So you need to continue to execute at the highest level possible. It's your chance to close out strong and to finish this year strong and build momentum going into next year.
Awesome. Josh, thank you so much for breaking some of this down. Guys, before we wrap this video up, we want to do our best to provide you guys with the information that you're looking for, right? So if you could please do us a favor, drop in the comments topics that you want to know about, things that you want to hear. Are there some struggles that you're facing in your business? Are there some things on the marketing side that you wish you had a little bit more information on? Drop those in the comments. Tell us. We'll bring people in. We'll bring Jeff in. We'll bring Nick in. Whoever you guys want to hear from, to be able to have an expert opinion on the topics that you guys need. So please drop some comments. Josh, anything else that you want to add on to that?
No, that's perfect. I think, like David said, we don't know what you guys need or how we can help you unless you let us know. So
exactly,
drop those comments.
And last thing here, I mentioned it in our last video. The majority of you that watch our videos are not subscribed. So if you could please like this video, if you found it helpful, subscribe to the channel. Go back into some of our old videos. We have playlists that are set up for you guys, agent training, lead platforms, agent testimonials. Please do us a favor, hit subscribe. It would help the channel out a ton, and it would also help us grow the channel to provide you guys better and better content.